We're just gonna keep it like just like a regular conversation.
So I guess, yeah, for firstly, just introduce yourself. Like, who are you?
My name is Tom Green. I'm starting over. My name is Tom Green and I'm 18 years old.
All right, so I guess let's go back to like what you used to do when you were a kid.
So when I was a kid, I was just pretty much like every regular kid. Played sports. I skied a lot. Yeah, just like a regular kid would do. Before my accident, I played sports like football, soccer, basketball, hockey, badminton.
So like, what got you into skiing?
Around grade 5, I started skiing, and it was just for fun at that time, but then I started doing it more seriously, and I started doing more jumps and stuff, and I loved going fast down the hill, and I loved jumping in the air all the time.
Would you say like skiing was like your main focus at one point?
Skiing was my main focus at one point.
Like, what age were you?
14.
14 years old. So then, like, what happened? Like, the accident?
So me and my friend Jesse went on the terrain park after eating some lunch breakfast, and I told him I'm going to go off the 50-foot jump. The day before my accident, there was a big ice storm, so all the ice came down, and then it just powdered snow over top of that, so you couldn't tell it was icy.
Oh.
So I went off the 50-foot jump, but I was going way too fast, so I overshot. So I almost slipped up the hill, and I was in the air, and I was upside down, and I thought, oh shit, I'm upside down. And then I landed, but instead of landing down the slope like this, I overshot it, so I landed flat on my feet like that, broke both of my femurs, shattered 6 vertebrae in my spine, shattered my pelvis, and hit my head pretty hard. I remember being upside down, and then I remember being on the ground thinking I was in a dream, and I wanted to go back to bed, and that's what I told the ski patrol. They told my parents that I went off a 4-foot jump, and I might have maybe fractured one of my legs. After my accident, I went to the Soldiers Memorial Hospital from the ski hill, and then I was stabilized there, and they sent me to the Sick Kids Emergency. When I was getting taken to Sick Kids, there was no helicopter available, so they took me in an ambulance. And since I broke both my femurs, I was put into traction, and I was sent to the orthopedic floor, 5A at Sick Kids, and I had my surgeries I was supposed to have my surgeries the next morning for my femurs to be fixed.
Do you remember anything from like in between, like before the coma, but like after the accident, or is it all just like a blur?
I remember funny things.
Like what?
When the doctor told me I had to have a catheter, I told them, I don't need a catheter, I can just hang my wang off the side of the bed.
So you remember specifically saying that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember when my Aunt Karen asked me if I was okay, I said, I don't know, Aunt Karen, do I look okay? I was on fentanyl, ketamine, morphine, hydromorphone, Tylenol. I don't know all the drugs that I took.
January 14th, 2018.
The day you were in a coma?
That's the day of my accident, so I was in a coma a couple days after that.
Okay, yeah, so talk about that.
From my femurs breaking, I had a complication called cerebral fat emboli syndrome, and I'm the only kid ever in North America to have that happen to them. So that's when the fat clots that are in your long bones of your legs go up into your body, and it's usually pulmonary because they stop at your lungs. But mine was cerebral, so it went to my brain, and it caused me to have hundreds of strokes. They weren't able to count the amount of strokes I had, and then it put me in a coma for 8 days. Yeah.
For 8 days.
For 8 days. Because I went into my coma, all of my surgeries got postponed. Since I was in a coma and my surgeries had to be postponed, they had to put external fixators on my legs, and it's metal bars that are about this wide and this long. So they stick out halfway out of your leg and halfway into your leg, so they were pushed into my bone. just stabilizing my legs so the fat clots wouldn't cause any more strokes. Over the next couple of days, my condition got very worse, and they told my parents to call my rest of my family and tell them to come say their final goodbyes. My mom didn't sleep. She was there almost all the time. Eventually she had to sleep, so then my dad would be there all the time. But they were very supportive of me, and they didn't leave my side no matter what.
How was being in a coma? Was it just being asleep? Do you remember any? Was it dreaming? Like,
I don't remember anything from my coma. It was just a blank space in my life.
so the next thing you remember was waking up 8 days later.
Yeah. My mom didn't let me have my phone for the first couple of days because she didn't want me to know how many days have passed.
What was the confusion like when you first woke up?
I did not know where I was. I asked my parents for a peanut butter and weed sandwich. Yeah, I just didn't know where I was. I didn't know what was going on because one minute I could just jump off a ski hill, the next minute I couldn't walk for a month. I was on so many drugs that I couldn't really comprehend what was going on in my own brain. On day 20, after my coma, they got the external fixators out of my legs that were sticking out like this, and they put the IM nails in, so now I have metal rods in both of my femurs, on both sides like that.
So you say all those like physical stuff that happened to you. What about like mentally? Like,
So from my accident, from the strokes that I had, I have a traumatic brain injury. So that's made it really hard for me to do a lot of things in my daily life. I have a hard time of controlling my emotions. I can't read very well anymore. Most of the time I forget what I'm thinking and I forget what I'm doing. An example would be earlier this week I was playing badminton with my friend Emma, and I forgot I was playing badminton and I missed. And then I thought, oh yeah, I'm playing badminton. From my accident, not necessarily just my brain injury, I'm always in pain, but I've learned to live with it, and I've developed a very high pain tolerance from that.
Once you're like through the coma and you're like awake and you're going like the recovery process, how'd you mentally stay strong? Like what kept you going?
What kept me going was that I knew I had people who cared about me, and my mom was always there for me, telling me that I could do it, and my brother and my dad. I had a couple of very close friends that stuck with me, but a lot of my other friends didn't stick with me, and that also meant a lot to me because it showed me who I needed to have in my life. The first friend I called, his name was Jesse. He was the one who was skiing with me. I thought it was good for me to call him first because he was the most traumatized one of my friends that my accident had on. And the first thing I said on the phone was, "Hi, is Jesse there?" And his mom knew immediately it was me. So she was like, oh yeah. And then Jesse got the phone and he said, "Hello?" And then I said, "I lived, bitch." And then Jesse laughed, and Jesse said, he's asking me how I am, and yeah.
how were you at that time? Like, what'd you say?
I said I was really good because, like, I told him I was probably not that good because I had the pain, but I was really happy that I was talking to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At what point, like when you woke up after your accident, did it like sink in what you just went through? Or was it just immediately you were like, oh.
Some days, like today, I still think about, holy shit, that was me. Looking at pictures, it doesn't look like you could come back from that, but now I'm doing everything I wanted to do.
How long till you went back to school?
I was in the hospital for 84 days, and then I think I took about a half a month off of school, and then I went back to second semester of grade 9 and got 7 out of 8 of my credits.
So what was the reaction of people at school? Like,
Well, people in high school are mean, because I had to walk around with a walker, so people just would make fun of me sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
Someone
Someone wrote "gay cripple" in my locker.
gay.
That's
Yeah.
fucked up.
That's
Yeah.
so fucking. What about your teachers though?
Wasn't funny.
My teachers were very happy to see me.
Well, like, was it hard to like readjust to normal life after spending 84 days? And, like,
Yeah, because I had school in rehab,
Okay.
but it was just like, do this quick math equation. Oh, you're good. You got a brain injury. You need to rest.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I had physiotherapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, and anytime I didn't have any therapies, I would have school.
What was rehab like?
I hated rehab, but now I wish I didn't hate rehab because it was probably the best thing that could have ever happened to me at that time. They were there for me, they were helping me. I had lots of physio, I had music therapy. That's where I learned what music therapy was, and that's why I'm in school now. Before my accident, I had no clue what music therapy was. But then once I was in rehab, I really hated school there, so I told my mom to put me in everything she can so I don't have to go to the school there. And one of the things she put me in was music therapy. And I went to my first music therapy class, and she just started playing me music, and it was very nice. And then she started asking me if I played any instruments, and I told her that I played the trumpet. And then she asked me if I wanted to learn an instrument, and I said sure. So when I was in rehab, I learned how to play the clarinet. It just really made me feel good that music therapists were able to help me because I had such a severe disability, because I wouldn't do anything other than that. And it makes me want to be able to help other people with their struggles. I think music was the main thing that helped me get through all of it.
Did your like perspective on music change for
Oh,
the better
yes.
because of your
Yes.
accident? Yeah.
So when I went into my coma, my music teacher from my elementary school put together a playlist of classical music because she heard that it's better for people who are in a coma to listen to classical music. I wasn't sure why, but I was just sleeping. I was in a coma, not sleeping. And when I woke up, I learned. I asked my parents, "Can I buy a piano?" And they said sure. And then I played them a song that I've never played before. I learned it in my coma.
So was it at that point that you decided you wanted to do it, like pursue it after high school?
Yeah.
So before that, you didn't want to pursue music?
Well, before it was it was maybe one of my options, but it wasn't my main option.
And after you went through that traumatic experience, like
Yeah. Then it was for
you
sure.
knew for sure.
This is what I wanted to do. Yeah.
So, how is like your schoolwork now in like post-secondary?
Significantly harder. I was in high school. I was getting very easily academic honor roll, but here I have to work way harder because there's a way higher workload, and not all the professors understand what accommodations I need. Some of my teachers understand that I'm unable to memorize things, and they're okay with that, and they help me work around it, but other ones do not understand why I can't memorize things, so they make me do it anyways, or they take marks off because I don't have it memorized. But I'm very physically not able to memorize things right now because of how severe my brain injury was.
So I guess, yeah, just talk about like your trumpet playing, like what do you do, like just like songs you've learned and stuff like that. Just elaborate on it.
Some of my favorite tunes that I've learned on the trumpet are Transcription Solo from Louis Armstrong. That one I learned it from memory after my accident by listening to the song every day and learning it note by note. There Will Never Be Another You. Killer Joe. Misty is another one of my favorite songs. All the Things You Are. I love playing the trumpet, and it's what I do in my pastimes. I don't need to acknowledge my disability when I'm playing the trumpet because I've known the trumpet way longer than I had my disability, so I didn't have to learn all the basics and stuff during my accident and after my accident. So when I'm playing the trumpet now, it's easy for me to pick up on things because I knew them previously.
What are you doing now, like as far as music goes?
Right now in music, I've got a pretty busy schedule for class, but I've been invited to gigs to play with people, and with school I'm playing with my ensemble band, and I'm performing a couple tunes, and I'm also playing with my master class and my improv class.
Do you think you'd be doing what you're doing right now if it wasn't for your accident?
I don't know what I would be doing right now if I didn't have my accident. I could be in a totally different path, but I can't really know that for sure right now. Because I did like the trumpet before, but I didn't love it as much as I did after my accident.
Overall, would you say you're happy that you had your accident?
That's a very tough question, because I don't know what I would have been like if I didn't have my accident, but I love who I am since I had my accident. So it's hard for me to decipher whether it would have been better if I didn't, because of all the suffering I had to go through, or if it would have been better if I had my accident.
Do you have any words for someone going through like a similar situation like you did, or just people in general?
Good luck, buddy. I don't know.
Find what
Just
they love.
Keep moving on. Every day is a new day, and keep getting better. If you feel like you're down in the shit, just get out of the shit. If you jump off of a mountain, you'll be able to get back up.